So, how'd everybody do with 5.1? So, if you do have questions, like I said, please let me know. So, now what we want to talk about is addition and subtraction of integers using both the colored counters and number line approach. So, first thing we do for colored counters is we actually want to kind of draw the numbers out based on their colors. So, in this case, 5 would look like 5 black counters. And then we're going to add -2 to that, which means we need to add 2 red counters to our list. And so the main thing to kind of remember in this section is what happens if I take a black counter and pair it up with a red counter? What kind of answer am I going to get? Well, hopefully you said 0 in this case, because they're going to cancel each other out and give us 0. And so we're going to have to use that a bunch when we're doing this adding and subtracting of colored counters. So with that in mind, we can go over here and pair up this black and this red, and that's going to 0 out. Pair up this black and this red, and that's going to 0 out. So all we're left with is 3 black counters, which means our answer is +3 in this case. So I'll leave 2 for you guys to do, but let me do 3 real quick because this is kind of a good example of something weird that can happen. So in this case, we've got -4 plus 1. So first thing I'm going to do is draw out what I've got. So I've got -4 and then to that I'm going to add 1 black one. And so again, remember, just like we said above, if I pair these guys up, they're going to cancel out, and I'm just going to be left with 3 reds. So in this case, my answer would be -3. All right, so at this point, pause the video, work on 2 and 4 yourself, and when you're finished those, come back to the video, and then we'll talk about adding using the number line. All right. So hopefully you were able to do the color counters adding. So now let's talk about how to do this using the number line. So again, this is going to be similar to what we did with just without negative numbers. So first thing we want to do is kind of sketch out our number line. Now in this case, since we do have negatives, we may have to include negatives on our number line. So I'm just going to put some on here just in case. And again, we always start with the first number. So in this case, I want to jump 5 units. So starting at 0, I want to jump, oops, hold on, I held it down too long. Starting at 0, I want to jump 5. But now this is a little strange because when I'm adding, normally when I add, I go to the right. But since I'm adding a negative number, this means I'm actually going to jump to the left when I'm actually doing my addition. So let me change colors here. So starting at 5, now I want to jump back -3. So in this case, wherever I land is going to be my final answer. So in this case, 5 plus -3 is the same thing as +2. So again, I'll leave 2, 3, and 4 for you guys to work on. So at this point, again, pause the video, practice 2, 3, and 4. Make sure you know how to do them. If you have questions, let me know. When you're finished those, come back to the video, and then we'll talk about subtraction using colored counters. All right, so hopefully everything went well with the number line approach. So now let's do subtraction using colored counters. So again, same kind of idea. So first thing we want to do is 6 minus 2, which means I need to put 6 black ones down. But in this case, -2 tells me I want to take 2 of those black ones away. So again, we're sort of using the takeaway method on this. So I'm going to grab 2 of these guys, pull them off to the side and get rid of them. And so whatever's left over would be my answer. So in this case, I have 4 blacks left over. So my answer would be +4 in this case. All right, let's look at number 2 also, because again, this one has sort of a little trick in it. So in this case, -6 minus 2. So in this case, I'm starting off with -6, which means I want to put -6 red counters down. But from that, what I'm trying to do is take away two black ones. But do I have two black to actually take away? No, I don't. So what I have to do is actually kind of add two blacks in. So I'm going to use that whole idea that if I put a black and a red together, it equals 0. So the goal is I'm going to add 0 to this expression by adding two blacks and two reds. So that way it still equals -6, but it's going to allow me to be able to do the subtraction like I want. So let me grab the two reds here. So here's the new two reds. And underneath of it, I'm going to grab the two new blacks. So again, if you were to calculate this, it still looks like -6. I haven't changed anything. But now I am allowed to subtract those -2. I'm allowed to take away these two black ones. And when I do that, what I'm left with is, in this case, 8 reds, which means my answer then would be -8. So again, pause the video at this point, finish chapter 3 finish numbers 3 and 4 on this, and when you're finished those, start the video back up and we'll talk about subtraction using the number line. Alright, so hopefully you did good on the subtraction. So now we want to do subtracting using the number line. So again, it's kind of the same idea of what we did before. So we'll have to first start off with drawing the diagram. So -3, -2, -1, 0. And again, first thing I have to do is jump 5. So starting at 0, I want to jump out to 5. And since I'm subtracting +2, then this is just like we would have done before. So I want to go 2 to the right, or to the left, sorry. So in this case, when I jump 2 to the left, it looks like my final answer would be 3. So again, work on these guys on your own at this point. Practice 2, 3, and 4. Make sure you understand how to do the number lines. And then I've also, excuse me, we got some word problems here that you can work on. So practice those guys. These will probably be like an exit ticket or something like that. So make sure you work on them. Again, ask me if you have any questions or anything. But this kind of finishes up addition and subtraction. So get ready for the multiplication and division video to come.